In this presentation, we will set up the process for entering transactions for the second month of operations from the bank statement for the second month into QuickBooks Online. Here is our primary document that we'll be using to enter the information for the second month, that being the bank statement. So we have the bank statement for the second month. We'll note that the bank statement will, of course, have an ending balance that ended in the prior month, and that's going to be our beginning balance now. This will match, of course, what's in our QuickBooks file because we're entering the data exactly as it is from the bank statement. So this is going to be our beginning balance. That's what we have at this time. Then we'll have the additions, we'll have the withdrawals, and then we'll get to the ending balance. We're going to use this to enter the data. First, we want to just think about where we would put it or how we should organize this information in our system just to make sure we have all the documents lined up. So we're going to enter this or save this to our folder. So our folder is going to be this folder here. It would be in a client folder if we had a client folder. If it's just our folder, our business, we'd still want to save this information in a pretty systematic way just so we know how to get back to it and if there's any problems or questions, especially at year-end tax time and whatnot. So if we go into this folder, then we're going to have our files. We have the permanent files. We have the docs files. We're going to go into the docs files, and then we're going to go into the 2019. So we saved it by year into 2019, and then we have the months. Now, we may not break it out by month. You might just have all the year's documents in one folder. That might be enough. And then within the months folders, you might just break it out by month. So we broke out every month here, and then we're going to go into the second month, and then here's our bank statement. So we saved that bank statement in this format, again, year, and then the month, and then the day. And you probably don't need the year, month, and day because we saved it under the 2019 folder in the current year. However, if you just save all your documents in one area, if you put the date on it in this format, it'll be good over multiple years because it'll sort by the year first, and then by the month, and then the day, which is good for sorting. So that's going to be our document that we are going to start off with. This is what we're going to use to enter the data into the system. You may even want to make multiple copies of this because we're going to mark up one copy in the PDF file as well. So if you're able to print it out, or if you only have one paper copy, you might want to make a copy of it so we can use it to mark up as we go. The next thing we'll do just to get prepped up is to have that open items list. We're going to have another open items list for February. We're going to do both the January and February. We're going to push all the way through kind of like as if we were starting this new engagement for both January and February. We're going to enter the 2 months of data and then ask all of our questions about it after that point. So we're going through to the second month now. We want to get the same open items list. So I'm just going to go back to the prior month. And we're going to go into our prior month here, and then I'm just going to take this open items list. Notice I also have a bit of a different convention on this date. So if you put 2019, you got to have the same convention. So I'm going to rename that and then just make it 19. So that'll make it basically save properly or organize properly. Then we're going to copy this one. I'm going to copy this second one. I'm going to right click on it and copy it. And then we'll go back to the prior folder. I'm going to put that in February, so we'll go into February, and then I'm just going to right-click in here and paste it, and we're going to use that document. Now, I'm also going to redate it, so I'm going to make it 19 and then February. So I'm going to right-click on this, rename, and we'll make it 02, 1902, and we could put a day 28 there. So there we have it. It should line up then, and then if we open that up, we'll see what we have in that document, and of course I'm just gonna keep basically the title of it. Some of this information, a lot of it will be the same, so as we go through this, meaning we'll have a lot of the same issues for the second month clearly, but the check numbers will differ. So we might even want to have January's open as we go through February so that we can make any kind of adjustments and see what our questions were last time. But I'm just gonna delete this all and say this is going to be our open items list. We'll have our bullet point ready to go. And then we'll just change the name from January to February. And so there we have it. So now we're good to go for the second month.